everybody, this is Paige from Mosaic Moments, and I have a fun demo for you today. This is the hole-in-one die, and it's one of my favorites. It's really easy to use, but it makes amazing layouts, so I think you're gonna like this one. So it's a neat die because you kind of can have a photo within a photo, basically. So I did make sure I had subjects that fit within that small circle space, and I did find some neat plant photographs to fill in the rest of the space. To get that frame piece, I am going to be using that blue cardstock. Now that you have been introduced to the die, let's get started with the demo. The first step is to create your frame piece with the hole-in-one die. So you place the hole-in-one die on the machine and then a piece of cardstock of your choice. Make sure that it's large enough that it covers the entire die, or else it might be a crooked cut. Alright, once you roll it through, you just need to punch out these excess pieces and discard those. Really what you want is that frame that's sticking within the metal die. If your frame does get stuck, you can use a sharp pair of tweezers and poke it through the hole in one of the corners, and that frame die should pop right out. Alright, and sometimes I have rough edges around my dies, so you can use your finger to smooth it out, or use your tweezers, or a little chiseler tool, whatever you have to smooth those rough edges off. Alright, we have the frame piece, and I'm going to be cutting that 5 times all together. Next, you want to glue down your hole-in-one frame die. This is what I'm using is Re-positionable glue. This is the Herma Dotto dispenser. I really like it for creating scrapbook pages. It is repositionable, but it does become permanent within 72 hours, and we've had pages that have been around for at least 15 years. We've used repositionable glue in the past, and those pages have still lasted very well. Alright, next you want to place your hole-in-one die on the grid paper, and you do want to pay attention to which side that circle is going. So here I intentionally placed it on the left. So you have to decide on which side you want the circle to go, on the left or the right. Take your time as you're putting it on the grid lines. I did have to do a little bit of readjusting here to make sure the top and left line are completely covered. To save my time, I went ahead before the video and glued the back of the rest of the hole-in-one dies. So you have a choice of either placing the circles on the same side or on the opposite side of each other, and that's what I'm going to do for my layout. Either way, it's going to look really neat. But I kind of like I think it's a little more fun to have the circles alternate and on different sides. By the way, I'm putting my hole-in-one die on the grid paper horizontally, but you can also place them on your grid paper vertically. So you have a lot of flexibility with this die on which directions you want to place them. Alright, so I have all 5 of my hole-in-one die cuts down, and again, take your time as you put them on the grid paper and make sure all those grid lines on the grid line on the very top and on the left side where the dies need to be placed are covered. Next, I'm using the hole-in-one die to cut out my decorative, I call them decorative plant photos because they're not of a particular subject like a person or animal. So the die may not look like it cut all the way, but it did. For me, it's easier to put the glue on the back before separating the pieces, so that way they stay together. And it's really easy. Once you have them glued, you can place them right in the hole-in-one die and you're done. It's really easy. And these pieces are pretty big. So, well, not really big, but you know, they're not too small that they're flimsy or will get lost easily or anything like that. So again, I'm showing here, I put it through the machine and I'm putting glue on the back, and then I'm separating them from the rest of my photograph here right before I place them in the hole-in-one die. So because you have that frame on the grid paper, you don't have to figure out where to place each portion of your photograph onto your layout. All right, so I'm doing it for the 3rd time here. Placing my glue down on the two sides. I really like using these floral or plant photographs. They're really nice. And if you don't have photographs, you can also opt to use pattern paper, which I have seen some of you do on the Crop and Share Facebook group, which, by the way, if you don't know about it, definitely, if you have any questions, send us an email or visit our Facebook Mosaic Moments page and click on groups. And be sure to join the group. We have a community of many Mosaic Moments fans, and everyone shares their pages. So if you want to get more ideas and ask questions or get tips from the Mosaic Moments community, definitely join the Crop and Share Facebook group. All right, I have this last one here. And by the way, with the Crop and Share Facebook group, how about this? I'll put a link in the description below so you guys can get a direct link there and then ask to join. All right, I'm gonna glue on this last little piece here and I'm done filling in those spaces. So now I'm gonna fill in those circles. All right, I have this photograph here of a zebra and it fits right into that circle space. So make sure your subjects fit or will crop really well within that small space. Of course, I'm going to roll it through my machine again, as I did the other times. And I'm going to use my glue. You don't always have to glue on right on the back of the photo. You can glue right on the grid paper, just like I did now. And then you're going to place that circle right inside there. And of course, you may need to adjust to make sure your subject looks straight and not crooked within that circle. So my subject here barely fits within that circle, so I'm going to use washi tape to make sure that photo does not shift at all in the machine. These little rhinos here, they could have easily been cut off. All right, I went ahead and just glued all these circles just to make it fast. All right, so I think you get the idea here basically, and I'm going to switch out. I was using the crease pad before, but I'm going to switch it to a plastic plate. Sometimes with these more smaller, intricate dies, with the rhino die, it didn't cut through completely all the way, so I decided the plastic plate probably be better. So the crease pad is great for photographs for the most part, because some of you have seen that your photos get a little indent. And so when you use a crease pad, you don't get the indent. But keep in mind, it may not cut through paper, but it may depend on the thickness of your photographs and the die. I find if it's a more smaller, intricate die, it has a harder time cutting through versus the basic die set. It seems to do really well. So just keep that in mind. If your photo doesn't cut through the crease pad, switch back to a plastic plate like I had to do here. All right, so I have my last cut here of this turtle. And again, that circle fits right into that hole-in-one die, and I am finished with my layout. All right, my layout is complete. You may have noticed that I switched the toucan and rhino photos. I like the placement of this better, and that's what's nice about the repositionable glue, is that you can change things around if you need to. Anyway, I really like this layout. I love the idea of having basically a photo within another photo. It's really neat. So I highly recommend the hole-in-one die. It is great whether you are a beginner or an advanced Mosaic Moments scrapbooker. Alright, if you enjoyed this video, definitely give it a thumbs up. And also don't forget to subscribe so you can be updated on all future video tutorials. Alright, thanks for watching and I'll see you next time.